Hello and welcome back to my channel. For this video I am going to use quite a few Lawn Fawn products. Here is the Caramel Apple stamp set as well as the Pick of the Patch stamp set. These caramel apples were inspired by the current, well I guess I should say this year's Brutus Monroe and Simon Says Stamp Timber exclusive stamp set. If you've seen it you'll know which one I'm talking about. I'm waiting for mine to come in. Alright, so I did my jack-o'-lantern face for one of the caramel apples, and now I have this Spooky Village stamp set. From that stamp set, I will be using both the bat and the little ghost. For the mask, I just used a post-it note that I stamped and cut into a couple pieces so that I could have what would be the caramel uncovered, so that I didn't end up with weird lines and sprinkles in weird places or whatever I decided to put up there. I don't know if you guys have seen or had gourmet caramel apples, but I thought about doing other holiday themed ones just because I thought it was cute. I don't know that I will. I did have plans for a Christmas card. This kind of made me actually want caramel apples, and I don't usually even eat those. Alright, I went through all of my Lawn Fawn stamps and I found any little thing that I thought either worked for a caramel apple that's Halloween themed or just a normal caramel apple. So for this one I'm using Unicorn Picnic, and I just picked out the little sprinkles. I figured if I color them in Halloween colors, it'd be a Halloween caramel apple. I did find candy corn, and I actually make one that looks like candy corn later. I could have actually used the little candy corn pieces, but I didn't, so here we are. Alright, for this I am using this little tiny gingerbread, and I'm using the crumbs, and I'm actually just making it look kind of like little peanut pieces. I had contemplated using the little crumbs from the fortune cookie stamp set from Lawn Fawn, but they were more jagged, and when I seen this I thought, this is pretty good, it's pretty close to what I need. Alright, just bringing in an extra piece of paper here just to mask off so I can get a couple more tiny little pieces stamped on my caramel apple. And here is everything that I decided to stamp. The next ones I'm just going to color in a specific way. The orange color combo that I use is YR02, YR07, and R08. It's a little bit different than what I usually use because usually I'm coloring pumpkins and I don't go this orange. I don't think I love this particular color combination that much, but it's what I had to work with. So let me know what your guys' favorite orange color combination is in Copics, because I'm still looking. Alright, my greens, I'm using YG03, YG05, YG13, and YG17. So some of my apples will be green and then other ones will be red. I wanted a little bit of a mix. I contemplated adding yellow, but then I just felt like I was doing too much. Alright, all those you've just seen. I'm not even going to bother telling you the color combinations that I just used for that. This is just for my candy corn. I think I did go in with a C marker at the end, or maybe it was a W marker. It was one of the gray ones. And I added just like the teeniest little bit of shading on the edges. And that's where I kept my shading on the caramel parts of the apple, just from coming in from the left and the right. At some point I do stop coloring the apples on camera because I have so many, and at that point you've already seen me color several. Alright, now here, in a minute, when I color my next apple, you'll see me mess up. I am using that Y17 marker right on my caramel. So I pulled out my C0 marker. Nope, not C0. The regular 0. There you go. Pulled out that marker to try to clean up my area a little bit and push the yellow back out. I added the yellow to the apple before I added the red, just to kind of brighten the red a little bit. And for this color combo it was, I believe, R24, 27, 29, and 89. And here I'm using my YG05. I'm just going to go ahead and make this apple green. I think I went from 5 to 17, and I think I might have brought in the 13 a little bit. I can't remember. B12, 15, and 17 for my purple caramel apple. I know these are some really weird colors for some caramel apples. I was really trying to go with Halloween colors though. And I mean, I guess they can be candy coated. I did not add any additional color to the ghosts. I contemplated it. I think I had darkened their eyes with maybe a pen later. Onto my browns. For my caramel, I used E55, E35, E25, and E57. This is another one of those times I'm not sure I was super thrilled by my choice of colors, but I didn't have a caramel apple to look at in front of me, so I just went with what I thought looked the closest from my memory. I think it was a little bit dark though. I actually do color a whole nother caramel apple off screen later when I realize I needed it. Alright, I'm using E51, 53, and 55 for the little peanut bits on this caramel apple. I'm also going to use similar colors for the popsicle sticks. And here I'm just picking orange, a green, and a purple to color in my sprinkles. I don't do anything fantastically amazing with that. Oh, 50 and 51. Yep, those are my little popsicle or whatever skewers inside the apples. I did bring in that little bit of 55 to darken it. And I did not realize that at some point I was coloring off camera. I think I was still just making little highlights and stuff, and you can see that on the other one, so it's not that big of a deal. I added some highlights to the sprinkles. I don't know that it was necessary, but they all seemed a little bit dark. Maybe I should have used lighter colors. And here I'm just going in with my black, whatever black pen I happened to find at the time. And it's Faber-Castell. And I'm just going over my black details. Alright, here I've got two scallop rectangles, and at this point I still wasn't 100% sure what I was doing with my card. I decided I would do maybe a black background with a little bit of white at the bottom, kind of like a tabletop. And I'm just gonna cut that down to the size of the counter I want for that. As you can see, I'm just using a large ruler and an X-Acto knife. I don't know how many times I laid these out and played around with the position. Oh, it was hard to squeeze them all up there at first. Here I'm taking my pumice stone distress oxide, and I am going to add a little bit of color and shading to the very top of the counter, just so that when my apples are sitting up there it doesn't look too flat. And now I am taking some string that I have, and this is some I actually got from the Dollar Tree. I don't love it. It does kind of fray a little bit, but for my purposes for this, it actually didn't do too bad. And I'm just going to make tiny little bows in orange, purple, and green to match my cards, and I will be attaching them to my caramel apple sticks. Now here I've got Fox Costumes before and after, and that's what I'm going to use for my sentiments. I am stamping it in Hero Arts Unicorn Pigment ink, and then I will be heat embossing it. Ugh, I'm always tripping over my tongue, you guys. I don't even know why I bother with voiceovers. Yeah, it's Ranger's white heat embossing powder. It's what I always use. Now at this point, I didn't know what I was doing with the top. I did add an additional sentiment later in the card. Wow, I need to slow down for a second. My caramel apples in the back, which are the red ones, I do adhere with liquid glue flat onto my card base. For the other ones, I do pop them up with a little bit of the Big Mama foam tape, which is a relatively low profile foam tape, so it gives it a little bit of dimension without going overboard. And yeah, if I had known what other sentiment I was going to add to my card, I would not have adhered anything down at this point. I would have waited until I had finished my sentiment on the front of the card. Alright, here is where I decide to add my sentiment. I'm just going to use clear embossing powder and this Tiger Lily embossing powder from Ranger and Wendy Vecchi. I did feel like my Hope Your Day Is and extra sweet sentiments were a little bit too far from each other, so I did add a few little dots after is with my white gel pen. And now I'm just attaching my little bows with some liquid glue. This was kind of a pain, and I wanted to cut the little bow tails before stuff dried, and then this happens. I just kept pulling them up. So after a little bit of struggling, I did finally get them down. I do think maybe I should have cut them down to size first and probably added a little bit of glue to the bow tails just so they don't unravel, because like I said, this is from the Dollar Tree. It kind of unravels, not ravels. Ugh. You guys. Oh goodness. Yeah, it unravels quite a bit. Yeah, I felt like there was some bare areas, and I really didn't have anything that I thought worked there, so I decided I would draw just a little spider web and a tiny little spider coming down from it. It's nothing fancy. And then because I had that on that side, I decided I would make just a little web on the opposite side, trying not to draw too much attention to things that don't necessarily matter in the card. So I try to keep it fairly small. And I don't really know why you'd want spiders or spider webs by your candy apples, but here we are. And now I'm just going to adhere everything together. I've got my white card base, and I found some purple paper that went pretty well with the purple that was already in my card, and I decided that that would be the back and border to my caramel apple panel. After that was finished, my card was complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will look at your stamps and find creative ways to use them. And if you guys do anything like this, I would love to see it. So if you tag me on Instagram, I will be sure to check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!